The interview. It's something we see all the time, right? It's supposed to be this amazing window into the minds of people who shape our world. But what if it's not a window? What if, for some people, it's more like a weapon? What if the simple act of asking questions is actually seen as an attack? I mean, listen to this. That's Rudyard Kipling, one of the most celebrated writers ever, calling the interview a criminal assault. Wow. And when you think about today's world of gotcha journalism and viral clips, you can kind of see where he was coming from, can't you? He's not just complaining here, he's declaring war on the whole idea. So, what's the real story? Is the interview really this vile, intrusive thing? Or is it what journalists would tell you, our best, most direct way to get to the truth and understand the people making headlines? That's the big question we're going to dive into. Okay, first up, let's hear from the folks who feel like they're on the receiving end of an attack. For a lot of creative people, an interview isn't just a chat. It feels more like someone breaking into their house, an intrusion that leaves them feeling totally exposed. The writer V.S. Naipaul put it this way. He said, interviews can actually wound you. This idea that you lose a piece of yourself to the public is a really powerful one. It's almost like that old superstition that a camera could steal your soul. For him, an interview did just that. And then there's Lewis Carroll, the guy who gave us Alice in Wonderland. He had a complete horror of being lionized. Basically, he was terrified of the celebrity treatment. He saw interviews as a trap, and he wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. But this one really gets me. It's so physical. The author Saul Bellow said interviews felt like thumbprints on his windpipe. Can you imagine? It's this incredibly visceral feeling of being choked, of being suffocated by the process. For him, this wasn't just annoying, it was a physical violation. Okay, so that's a pretty heavy case against the interview, but of course, that's only one side of the coin. So now let's pivot and look at it from the other perspective. For the people asking the questions, it's not an assault at all. It's something else entirely. So here you have it, side by side. For the artist, it's an ordeal, an assault. For the journalist, it's an art form, a source of truth. One sees a weapon, the other sees a vital tool. How can two groups be talking about the same thing in such completely different ways? Well, for journalists, it's pretty simple. The interview is a supremely serviceable medium. It's a powerful, indispensable way to get to the heart of a story. It's how we, the public, get to hear directly from the people who are shaping our culture, our politics, and our world. Now, this conflict brings us to a really fascinating guy who might just solve this whole puzzle for us, the Italian writer and professor Umberto Eco. He kind of represents a third path. So, who was Umberto Eco? Okay, imagine the real-life version of Robert Langdon from the Da Vinci Code, but maybe with a better beard. This guy was a world-class academic, an expert on science and symbols, a medieval historian. Oh, and on the side, he wrote a novel that became a global bestseller. When he spoke, people definitely listened. And here's where Eco completely flips the script. He's no victim. He's a willing, even masterful participant. For him, an interview wasn't a fight to be won or lost. It was a collaboration. It was a real chance to share and explore ideas. And that changes everything. So how did he do it all? I mean, how do you become a leading academic and a mega best-selling novelist at the same time? Well, ironically, the secret to his incredible productivity came out in an interview, the very thing so many of his peers hated. He said he worked in the interstices. What a great word, right? He basically meant the empty spaces. He explained that our lives are full of these little gaps of time. When you're waiting for an elevator, or you're in a cab, or waiting for a meeting to start. Most of us just waste that time. Umberto Eco, he wrote books. And here's his other secret. While it looked to the outside world like he was doing a million different things, he said that in his own mind, he was always doing the same thing. Every single thing he wrote, whether it was a dense academic text or thrilling novel, all came from the same deep-down philosophical interests. It was all connected. And he brought that creative, playful style to everything. Unlike most academics who write in this dry, formal way, Eco told the story of his research. He even included his mistakes and wrong turns, making his scholarly work read like a compelling adventure. And did this approach work? Yeah. His novel, The Name of the Rose, and this is a seriously intellectual book about medieval history and philosophy, sold a jaw-dropping 10 to 15 million copies.
And nobody in the publishing world saw this coming. They were absolutely stunned. The conventional wisdom was that people want easy beach reads. Eco's American publisher literally thought they'd be lucky to sell 3,000 copies. Instead, it sold millions and proved that actually, a huge number of people are hungry for a challenge. But even with all that fame and success, Eco never lost sight of who he was. He was an academic first. He once said, "I consider myself a university professor who writes novels on Sundays." I just love that. It was his passion project, not his whole identity.
So, when you put it all together, what does Umberto's example really teach us about the power of the interview?
It shows us that an interview doesn't have to be an attack. It doesn't have to be a performance. It can be a bridge. It can be this amazing space where ideas are truly exchanged, not just taken. And when it works like that, everybody wins.
So, the next time you watch an interview, ask yourself, what am I really seeing here? Am I getting a peek into the subject's mind? Am I watching a display of the interviewer's skill? Or is it actually a mirror, one that reflects our own deep-seated need for truth, for connection, and for a really good story? The answer, just like a great interview, is probably more complicated than you think.